please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
For impeachment, for the removal of Chief Justice of India, the first charge relates to the conspiracy to pay illegal gratifications.
They want to put pressure on the judiciary.
Common people have the lost faith in judiciary, but judiciary is in crisis.
हम इतना ही कहना चाहेंगे कांग्रेस वालों को, यानी ये चेष्टा नहीं करना चाहिए।
ये हमारे देश के लिए कितना अच्छा है, कितना अच्छा नहीं है, इस पे लोग अवश्य विचार करेंगे।
That is the big story tonight. In an unprecedented move, 64 sitting members of Parliament have signed a motion to impeach the Chief Justice of India, Dipak Misra. The Congress, along with 6 other parties, has moved a motion to remove the Chief Justice. This move comes a day after a bench led by the Chief Justice ruled out any foul play in the death of Judge P.H. Lawyer, who was hearing the Sohrabuddin Shah fake encounter case. BJP President Amit Shah is an accused in the matter. But the Congress has made it clear that this case has nothing to do with its decision to move the impeachment motion. In fact, late Judge Lawyer's matter is not listed as one of the 5 charges against the Chief Justice in the impeachment motion. The 7 political parties say moving the motion is the only recourse to remedy the situation. Finance Minister Jaitely has hit back at the Congress party. In a post on social media, Jaitely has said, and I quote, "It is a revenge petition after the falsehood of the Congress party has been established in the Justice Lawyer death case. It is an attempt to intimidate a judge and send a message to other judges that if you don't agree with us, 50 MPs are enough for a revenge action," end of quote. So what are the specific charges levelled by the 64 MPs against the Chief Justice? Ashmit Kumar is standing by with just that. Ashmit, take us through the 5 charges made.
Right, so an impeachment motion is under consideration. Mind you, there are only 2 grounds for impeaching a judge. One is incapacity, which is not in question here. The second question is proved misbehavior. Now, to manifest that point of proved misbehavior, we have 5 very severe charges being levelled against the Chief Justice of India under this impeachment motion. Let's quickly take our viewers through them. The first one pertains to the Prasad Education Trust case. This was a case that was heard briefly by the Chief himself. The question also arose by way of a CBI investigation where they cornered individuals that were seeking bribes, essentially citing proximity to the Chief himself. So essentially the charge being levelled here is that the facts and circumstances show a prima facie evidence suggesting that the CJI might have been involved in a conspiracy by persons associated with the Prasad Education Trust for payment of illegal gratification. So that's the first serious charge being levelled. Let's take a look at the other charge, the second one, and this is a follow-up charge essentially. Keep in mind that there was a plea that was filed before the Apex Court that sought an independent probe regarding that very same case, regarding the very same charges of seeking of illegal gratification. And the charge here essentially is the way CJI dealt with the matter on both the judicial side as well as the administrative side with respect to this petition. And that is what created more questions than answers. That's the second charge being pulled here as far as the Chief Justice is concerned. Let's look at the third charge that has now been levelled. The CJI appears to have antedated administrative orders. Again, a very serious questions of forgery being levelled against none other than the Chief himself. So that makes up the third charge. As far as the fourth question that is raised, and this is quite serious as well, it goes back very many years when the Chief was an advocate in the Odisha High Court. The charge being levelled here is that the CJI acquired land when he was an advocate in Odisha High Court, mind you, by giving an affidavit, a false affidavit that was found to be false. That's essentially the charge being levelled. The second part of that charge is that despite allotment and cancellation of orders in 1985, he surrendered that land only in 2012 when he was elevated to the Apex Court. That's the fourth charge. And the fifth one, of course, is critical. It is more contemporary. It's the charge we've heard of more recently, that the CJI is arbitrarily assigning cases, politically sensitive cases, to select judges. Keep in mind that the January press conference that we had, where we had 4 judges of the Apex Court coming out in the open, they made a direct reference to this practice of preferential treatment of cases, preferential treatment of assignment of cases. In fact, very recently, Justice Chalameshwar also said that the Jai Lalita DA case was a classic example of how cases were being assigned to preferred benches. So clearly, some very, very strong charges being levelled. Of course, the ball now rests in the court of the Rajya Sabha chairman to decide whether or not to allow the impeachment motion.
Ashmit, thanks very much for taking us through the 5 charges that have been made as part of that impeachment notice. Now, one of India's senior-most legal minds, Jaitly, has thrown his weight behind the Chief Justice. Speaking to our colleague Bhupendra Chaubey, Jaitly said he does not believe in the charges made against the CJI and has also called the impeachment motion a propaganda by those who are ignorant of the law.
I don't believe any one of the allegations that are being made, and they are talking of 5 items against them. There is not even one.
Why do you say that there is not even one?
One means why I say is, now first of all, let me tell you that the persons who have initiated all this mischievous propaganda against the poor Chief Justice are persons who do not know the law at all. And I'm very serious about this assertion of mine. They don't know the law, or they know the law and sort of they have completely ignored it.
You think Kapil Sibal would deliberately present a case which is not strong in law? He also happens to be a lawyer, sir.
That seems to be the real state of affairs. I mean, I can't understand any responsible lawyer doing a thing like this. And I am surprised that this has happened. And I am already getting signals that their unity is breaking.
Yeah, that within the Congress there are 2 clear-cut views. It appears that the likes of Mr. Chidambaram, who himself is a lawyer, he doesn't want to be a part of this petition. And Kapil Sibal is of the view that those people who have cases against them or those who may end up facing embarrassment at the hands of the Supreme Court are not a part of this. Does this defeat this entire process of moving an impeachment motion?
Not at all, but first of all, they do not even know the provisions of the Constitution which apply to the removal of a person like this.
But sir, look at where this case really stands. The truth is, and this is again being repeated by Ghulam Nabi Azad and Kapil Sibal, that 4 learned judges of the Supreme Court themselves came out in public domain to question the manner in which Chief Justice was conducting proceedings. Is that not ground enough for this impeachment motion to be moved?
The 4 justices are wholly wrong. They should never have created this kind of a public mischief, and this matter should have been resolved in private conferences with them, or they should have called some leaders of the bar, sat with them and chalked out things.
So do you think that this is actually not about the Chief Justice? Is it about settling political scores with Prime Minister Modi?
Of course.
Is it to embarrass the BJP?
Of course. Of course.
So the real target is Modi.
I am not saying that this is intended to embarrass the BJP. The BJP requires to be embarrassed on many other counts, including Modi.
Rahul Gandhi wants this country to believe that justice has not been done in the death of Judge Loya. He's saying that Judge Loya's family members believe that all hope is lost. Is all hope lost with the judgment which was delivered yesterday?
A person has to present some credible evidence which at least raises a reasonable suspicion that an offense has been committed. Merely a person saying that I believe this is nothing at all. Has he presented one iota of evidence?
Well, never minces his words there. One legal luminary to another, from Jaitly now to former Attorney General Soli Sorabji, also agreeing with Jaitly, saying that this move will shake people's confidence in the judicial system.
The impeachment motion against the Chief Justice really affects the confidence of the public in the free and fair administration of justice by our highest judiciary. There are other ways of doing it. You can't break up things of 20 years past. I'm afraid, to my mind, there seems to be the Congress wants to just have temporary political gains, not realizing the consequences of that move.
Sorabji also added this is one of the most disappointing days in his legal career. On to trading action from Dalal Street. A last hour rally pushed the markets just below the flat line. The Nifty ended just a point in the red, while the Sensex closed 11 points lower. The mid-caps mildly underperformed with cuts of about 0.3%, while the Bank Nifty saw a bigger fall of 0.75%. From Dalal Street to Mint Street now, the rupee weakened by 33 paise today to breach the 66 level to the dollar. This makes it a 13-month low for the currency. Increased dollar demand from importers, overseas strength of the greenback, and the minutes from the Reserve Bank of India's MPC meeting put pressure on the Indian currency. The minutes of the MPC meeting indicate that the Reserve Bank may shift to a hawkish monetary stance. Deputy RBI Governor Viralacharya has shown an inclination, in his own words, for a beginning of withdrawal of accommodation in the next MPC meeting in the month of June, and that clearly has had an impact on market sentiment. But the big global headline, with crude prices surging to late 2014 highs on the back of ongoing OPEC-led supply cuts and strong demand. US President Donald Trump has launched a scathing attack at the cartel of oil-producing countries. Trump tweeted, and I quote, "Looks like OPEC is at it again with record amounts of oil all over the place, including the fully loaded ships at sea. Oil prices are artificially very high. No good and will not be accepted," end of quote. A quick check of the crude prices and how they're reacting now to Trump's comments. Brent down by about 1%, as is the NYMEX. But heading back home, mighty bellwether TCS at the cusp of becoming India's first listed company to enjoy a market capitalization of $100 billion. In fact, the company's market cap is currently 2.5 times that of its nearest competitor, Infosys. The shares of TCS soaring to a record high in today's trade ended the day with over 6% gain. So what has the TCS journey been like since it listed on the stock exchanges? Anu joins us now to explain. Anu, over to you.
In fact, it would have been $100 billion sometime earlier itself, but keep in mind, in a country like India where rupee normally depreciates, you have to take into account that as well. So, in fact, if you take into account that factor, the journey has been even more phenomenal. But let's start with the TCS's listing, of course. It was way back in August 2004. I was just 1 year into this profession of tracking markets at that point. It listed at a market cap of 47,000 crores, which at that exchange rate actually amounted to $10 billion. After that, 2006, it hit 1 lakh crores, so almost double over a 2-year period. Doubled in next 4 years again with the market cap of about 2 lakh crores. After that, of course, it wasn't a great time for IT sector for a bit, so took a time to get to 3 lakh crores by March 2013. But from March 2013 to December 2013, the next 1 lakh crores came rather swiftly, as you saw on that graphic plate as well. Then almost an 8-month or 10-month gap, October 2014 is when it hit 5 lakh crores. Then, of course, the IT sector went through a bear market of its own and spent a lot of time consolidating. In fact, a lot of companies destroyed value. TCS, of course, still managed to do well, but it took time for TCS as well and the entire sector to come back. And the last 6 months or last 1 year, last 6 months of 2017 and the first 3 or 4 months of this year have all been about IT. So Jan 2018 is 6 lakh crores and today 6.6 lakh crores. What if you invested 1 lakh in TCS's IPO? How much would you be worth today? 16 lakh in terms of the value of the shares, 21,000 in terms of dividend, all tax-free, or most of it tax-free now that we have LTCG as well, though it's been grandfathered, of course. Now, the most interesting point is, we keep talking about this Infosys versus TCS comparison. In some way, it's not fair because Infosys, TCS straight away listed at 47,000 crore market cap. Infosys listed way lower, less than 1,000 crores, and has been actually a much bigger wealth generator. But still, TCS listed a 25% discount to Infosys in its market cap, caught up with Infosys over a 6-year period. Even though it was the largest company always by numbers, by sales and profit, it was always higher than Infosys. But because Infosys had been trading for so long and had given such a great trading history, Infosys always was the bellwether, and TCS always used to command a discount to Infosys. But look at what has happened now. Now TCS is 2.5 times Infosys, so Infosys plus Infosys and half of Infosys. Not just that, TCS market cap is 52% of all the index IT companies. It's higher than all the other IT companies put together in the index. Such has been the phenomenal journey, of course, of the bellwether called TCS.
Anuj, thanks very much. Yes, it has been quite a ride, hasn't it, for TCS. A quick break, but when we return, we take you inside Battleground Karnataka, where the election campaign is hitting fever pitch. The nomination papers are being filed. So how many candidates are millionaires and how many have serious criminal cases against them? Those details when we return. On to an important statistic for rural India. The Rural Development Ministry has completed its review of the progress and timely payments of wages under the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme or NREGA. Which states have done well and which ones are lagging? Anshu Sharma joins us now with the report card. Anshu, take us through the best performers and the worst performers on the NREGA report card.
MNREGS or Mahatma Gandhi National Employment Guarantee Scheme is the single social welfare scheme under Rural Development Ministry which gets the highest allocation. For FY19, government has allocated 55,000 crore rupees, and just recently last week, Rural Development Ministry has done a performance review. It has found that the good paymasters include Tamil Nadu at 99%, which is the highest, and Kerala at 97%, Uttarakhand at 94.6%, Chhattisgarh at 94%, and Rajasthan at 93% for paying the MNREGS pay for the workers within 15 days. The laggards are which pay the poor payment includes Nagaland at 6%, Jammu and Kashmir at 11.4%, Arunachal Pradesh at 29%, Meghalaya at 38%, and Bihar at 60% for making payment within 15 days, which is mandated. And all over India, it is 86% average for all India. For good governance, the leaders include states like Chhattisgarh, Odisha, Sikkim, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, and Jharkhand. Some of the laggards include for good governance Rajasthan, Karnataka, and Haryana. Good governance means the muster rolls and the file for these MNREGS work is kept properly, which is used for assessment of making payment and verification of the jobs done. The states have been asked to expedite the process for making these payments to the workers under MNREGS. Back to you.
Well, thanks very much, Anshu, for pointing out the good performers and the laggards on the NREGS report card. On to poll-bound state of Karnataka. Campaign hits fever pitch. Several heavyweights filing their nomination papers today, including Chief Minister Siddaramaiah from the Chamundeshwari constituency. Leader of the Janata Dal Secular, H.D. Kumaraswamy, filed his nomination papers. He will be fighting from 2 seats as well. And the Association of Democratic Reforms analysed nearly 500 candidates who will be fielded by the 3 major parties in Karnataka, the Congress, the BJP and the JDS. Archana Shukla is standing by with some of the interesting findings from that. Archana.
Well, preliminary analysis of the candidates fielded by political parties in Karnataka show that money power continues to rule. An analysis by Association of Democratic Reforms shows that of the 498 names being announced so far by the 3 leading political parties, 277 are crorepathies, and a majority of them are recontesting this time. 91% of Congress candidates, 87% of BJP and 79% of JDS candidates recontesting elections are crorepathies. Just for a comparison, 93% MLAs in the outgoing Karnataka Assembly are crorepathies. 10 Congress candidates whose affidavits were available have shown total assets above 100 crore rupees. 3 candidates of JDS and 1 BJP have made it to that coveted 100 crore plus list. The richest candidate so far is Priya Krishna, Congress MLA from Govindraj Nagar constituency, whose total assets stand at 910 crore rupees. Interestingly, richest candidates of both BJP and Congress are pitched against each other in BBMP South constituency. JDS's richest candidate is contesting from neighbouring BBMP North seat. When it comes to serious criminal cases, there is again no bar. 17% of BJP candidates, 16% of both Congress and JDS are charged with serious criminal cases but have been given tickets in this assembly election for recontesting. According to the report, of the 218 candidates fielded by Congress, 23 of them are facing serious criminal charges, while 48, which is 32%, are facing normal criminal cases. BJP has fielded 27% and JDS 29% candidates with criminal cases. While these numbers could change post parties finalize their candidates for all seats and they file their affidavits, till then, this stays as the hard reality.
Well, thanks very much, Archana. So it really doesn't matter, does it? At the end of the day, winnability is all that political parties across the board care about. Before we wrap, some sports news. One of the longest-serving football managers in history, Arsene Wenger, will leave Arsenal at the end of the season. The legendary French manager has been at the London-based club since 1996. Wenger's Arsenal has been slipping in England over the last few years, and the current position is number 6 in the Premier League. Wenger could still end the season with some silverware, as Arsenal can still win the Europa League. Well, that's the end of an era there, with Arsene Wenger set to leave Arsenal. With that, it is time for us to wrap up this edition of What's Hot. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. We turn our focus to Dalal Street, which ended the week in positive territory, aided by metal and IT stocks. The market action of the week coming up on Taking Stock. I'll see you again in 30 minutes on India Business Hour.